Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. I welcome you to today's show. Beyonce, one of the highest ranking witches in Hollywood, probably one of the most influential witches on the zombies out there who idol worship every breath that this demon takes, is back. I covered, you might remember a month ago, another channel covered Beyonce and her Vogue album cover where she appeared on the red horse from the book of Revelation, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, referencing the war. I talked about how these celebrities constantly are using biblical references that people just don't seem to understand the references that are being made. She was wearing, of course, the Saturn earrings in the photo shoot as well, with Saturn worship, just like I talked about Adele and these other celebrities. You see the constant symbols being used by these celebrities over and over and over again. And again, the masses don't pick up on these things, and this is how they communicate. This is how they tell you who they worship. No different than any of the signs and symbols that we see in the music videos. Well, Beyonce is back with her newest album. So the insane people known as the Beehive, the Bayhive Mind, I should say, are going crazy with the album called Renaissance. And Beyonce dedicates the album, right out in the public, she dedicates the album, she writes it in her own words to guess who? The Fallen Angels. Yeah, the Fallen Angels. Now, I don't understand really what's going through most people's minds these days because I know how dumbed down they are, that they can't seem to see past their own zeal. But the Bible obviously talks over and over about Lucifer and his fallen angels. As I've referenced many times in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, Satan falling from heaven, right? The devil and his angels will be thrown from heaven like lightning fall from the sky. And of course, we have many references in the Bible of the fallen angels coming down here to earth. In 2 Peter Chapter 2, verse 4, for if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. Matthew chapter 25, verse 41, then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. So the fallen angels is a reference to Satan and his angels. So why wouldn't Beyonce reference the fallen angels, being that, well, she's probably one herself or himself? So Beyonce says this, of course, because we all, as we know, those of us who are awake, we know that there's constant, not just symbolism, but constant sympathy for the devil, right? The Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil. We live in a society where Satan is actually looked at now as a victim. And the most wicked people walking and ruling on this earth right now are people who claim to be victims, because you can't question victims. How dare you question a victim? That's a hateful, horrible thing to do. So they're protected by this, pretty much this wall around them that they use these certain words like anti in front of to make sure you don't question their teachings or anything along those lines. And this is what Beyonce says. She says that this project that she came up with here, this new album, was recorded over 3 years during the pandemic. A time to be still, but also a time I found the most creative. Creating this album allowed me a place to dream and to find escape during a scary time for the world. Allowed me to feel free and adventurous in a time where little else was moving. All right, I'm sure Beyonce was quarantined the entire time, by the way. Underground, I'm sure, doing many, many rituals. But she says, I want to give a special thank you to Rummy, Sir, and Blue for allowing me the space, creativity, and inspiration. A special thanks to my beautiful husband and muse. A big thank you to my uncle Johnny. He was my godmother. If you're not familiar with Johnny, Johnny in the Hershey Highway, well, Johnny is the godmother. And the first person to expose me, because John, if you take a look at Johnny, yeah. Anyway, And then she goes on to say, thank you to all the pioneers who originate culture, to all of the fallen angels whose contributions have gone unrecognized for far too long. So who are these people out there who are fans thinking that she's referencing when she says fallen angels? Well, of course, what do these idiots that we live among always say? Well, it's a metaphor. Or, oh, well, does it literally mean the fallen angels? Well, who would be the fallen angels that she's referencing? Is she referencing the biker gang? Right? Or is that Hell's Angels? Oh, sorry. Well, so who is she referencing then? Do we know anyone specifically? Is this a band that we don't know of? No, she's saying the fallen angels whose contributions have gone unrecognized for far too long. And that has a lot to do with what is going on. Because now Satan is beginning to become a hero in our society. We constantly see it, right? We see these articles come out about, was Satan really that bad? I've covered all this stuff over and over the years. Oh, Lucifer, the TV show. Who's the good guy on the show? Lucifer. Who's the victim? Lucifer. Who's the villain? God. Right? And what does the Bible tell us? It tells us in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So think about that. We all look at it and we say, well, woe unto them that call evil good. So good is bad and bad is good. Everything's inverted, right? Which is what Aleister Crowley teaches. But what more, how can anything be more inverted than actually having Satan, the fallen angels, be looked at as the good guys, right? And that's exactly what Beyonce's saying, because their contributions have gone, unnoticed and unrecognized for far too long. Well, actually, they've gone recognized, because I know the contributions the fallen angels have made. They've pretty much taken a giant dump on humanity. So we all can recognize and see that. We actually can even smell it, because it doesn't smell too good. And we could see just the filth and disgust in this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah that we live in. So we're recognizing it over on this end, those of us who are awake. But now it's time for the zombies out there to recognize who's responsible for this quote unquote utopia that we live in. And it's the fallen angels. So she's thanking the fallen angels. But again, her fans, the zombies, the sleeping masses will see this and they'll say, Beyonce doesn't mean the fallen angels. She's not talking about the devil. It's just her saying pretty much all of those people we've lost over the years who have gone unrecognized. Oh, is that what she means? And she doesn't know better than use the term fallen angels. She claims to be a Christian, and as you probably are looking on the screen right now, look at some of these wonderful signs and symbols she's thrown up over the years. Not only dressed as the Baphomet, the Barphomet many times over, holding up 666, A-OK signs, wink, wink, doing all-seeing eye symbolism, monarch, butterfly symbolism, every single symbol you could possibly find, Beyonce has done. Black and white Masonic tile. Her husband and their record label is only called Rockefeller, which is named after the Rockefellers, one of the most wicked families to ever exist. And the symbol's only the pyramid they hold up. But again, we're all born yesterday, remember? Yeah, this is all crazy conspiracy stuff. They just hold it up to troll, YouTubers like myself and you guys out there. That's what they do it for. They have nothing better to do. They're haters, so to speak. So these celebrities are going to come out more and more now praising Lucifer, and that's what we're seeing. We saw it with Lil Nas X, whatever the guy's name is, the girl's name is, right? Doing the lap dance with Satan. This is why I cover these things all the time with these celebrities, is they are indoctrinating the masses to start worshiping Satan. Satan is being perceived as the good guy. Jesus and Christians are being portrayed as bigots, as evil, as wicked. The Bible tells us in the end times that this is the way the world is going to be, that everything is going to be the opposite, right? And look at the stuff that we're enduring now, with this insanity, with people, cutting off their wangs, telling us that this is normal, it can't even be questioned. This wickedness, this mental wickedness, it continues on and on and on. And we're going to see this more and more now. Celebrities are going to start coming out and saying this. I say all the time in my videos, it's pretty amazing that these celebrities who love Lucifer so much don't come out and openly admit to worshiping him. Well, Lucifer is known for what? Pride. Satan's known for his pride. He's prideful. That was his sin, pride, right? The same sin that we see so many suffer from, that they've created through media, pounding it into their heads. We live in the most prideful. I mean, I've never seen people so prideful. They're prideful with no self-awareness. So at some point, Satan is going to want the world to worship him, not just through how they act. He's going to want the praise, right? Because he's going to want the same type of praise that the Most High gets. So they're going to start coming out and saying, well, we do worship him. But right now, what you've been seeing over the years that I've covered is them going, well, we worship an energy god or a spiritualism, and there's something out there. And those who, do all this stuff with Satanism, like the satanic temples, etc., they say, well, we don't believe in an actual Satan. We only have, do satanic rituals and use the pentagram and everything else. We don't actually believe it. Well, the more people get desensitized, then they can come out and say, no, we actually do. They'll say, look in the Bible, he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy, they'll say. They'll say, what's in there? They'll say, look in the Bible, God's the one, doing these bad things. And that's the stuff that they're going to continue to do. And then they're going to continue to slowly leak this out and start praising the fallen angels, honoring the fallen angels, honoring the wicked, the same way they do in their black magic ceremonies that they conduct. And their black masses and all these satanic rituals that they do, they chant, they worship to the devil. They don't just sit there and go, hey, you want to drink some baby urine? They do these rituals to summon spirits, but they also do these rituals worshiping and in honor. They do these sacrifices for Satan because they love and worship Satan. Satan wants that worship and praise. And it's not just going to be through, well, these people are all, look at them, they're all sinners. That's not enough for Satan. He literally wants the same praise that the Most High gets. And he's going to, because these idiots are going to follow along because the false idols have been placed here and put in these positions to do it. Now, the false idols are all under mind control, but they're all part of the same bloodlines, and they believe that they're gods and goddesses amongst us. And why shouldn't they believe it at this point? You look at it and you go, they actually believe that crap? Well, why shouldn't they? Look at the praise that they get from these people. Have you seen some of the stuff I've covered over the years with Beyonce? Beyonce literally had her fans cut themselves. I can't show the article because the algorithm slices it, but she had her fans cut themselves because, something happened to Beyonce and she wanted them to do a blood ritual for them. And they did it. I've said over the years, I used to have some videos that would go viral. And Beyonce, the Beyonce videos would always go viral. And they're the only videos I would get thumbs downs on. A couple thousand thumbs downs. I'd still get more thumbs ups, but the Beehive Mind group would show up. And they would do anything for this demon. They worship the ground. You see this stuff. I mean, there's stories out there, oh, thank God Beyonce's returned. This is just what the world needs right now. That's just one of the narratives that's been out there. Beyonce got pregnant. Oh, this is just what the world needs right now. I mean, this is sick idol worship. So these celebrities are grooming the masses, not just with the behavior, they're grooming them to worship Satan. And they don't realize that they inadvertently already do. And they're inadvertently, without realizing, a lot of Christians are worshiping these idols. And they're like, well, I'm still a Christian, but Taylor Swift's really nice. You can't say that she's satanic because she's not running around holding up, dressed as the devil. And it's like, you need her to wear the outfit to see it? Or how about you see the agendas that these people push? And why don't you see the signs and symbols? Because they don't see it. But soon they will all openly do it. Just like Beyonce here telling you, we need to dedicate this to the fallen angels whose works and contributions have gone unrecognized. Right in front of our faces, everything is. I mean, if you follow for years, I show you this stuff over and over again because you start seeing it and you go, wow, there is a pattern. They're constantly referencing. This is all biblical. Because it is all biblical. This is universal law. They're telling you who they worship. They have to. But they use trickery and stuff and deceit and deception over and over and over. And people out there become so prideful, they don't want to believe it. And they certainly don't want to believe anything that we're trying to tell them to snap out of this trance that they're in. They love this trance that they're in. Why? Because they feel empowered in this trance that they're in. They feel like gods, which is what the Masons and the secret societies teach, that they're gods we're all gods is what they teach, but we're not. And they believe specifically that they're gods amongst us. And the false idols really believe that. But not to me and you, not to those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear. So Beyonce has returned. I'm sure she'll have music videos come out with this album, which I'll cover. If it's satanic, I will. if there's stuff in it. I'm not just going to cover it. But, you know, she always has the basics of the beta, you know, the sex kitten and all that crap. Puts it in over and over. It's the same stuff. Saturn. Oh, she just loves the planet Saturn. They all do. You know what I mean? Oh, she loves pyramids. They all do. They all love their eyeball. They all do. They all wanted to be optometrists. I mean, how people don't see the patterns is beyond me. But now we're at the point where they're, you know, she might as well say in the next album, I'm dedicating this album to the Baphomet. And people will still go, she doesn't mean literally the Baphomet. Or she'll put, I'm dedicating the album to the devil. And they'll be like, she doesn't really mean the devil. She means like the devil, you know, the metaphor. And they'll continue and continue and continue to believe and still never see it. They have a veil over their eyes. And it's very, very thick. I thank everyone for being here. Reminder, check out my website at timeforjudgment.com. A lot of great stuff going on over there. Hope to see everybody over there at some point. Thanks again for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.